Today, we're going to be reacting to one of Matt Pat's film theories, his latest one, actually. Five Nights at Freddy's, I Know How the Movie Trilogy Ends. Let's see what he thinks. Alright, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the original video before me, link down below. Alright, let's get into it. Nice. Cool intro. Okay, 4 theories remain.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory, the show that deserves its own semi-canon novelization. Friends, it feels like some sort of cruel joke. The Five Nights at Freddy's movie came and went from theaters. It was fun. It did great financially, and
It was pretty good, though.
We moved on, and now we wait patiently for the next installment to drop where Mike seeks help for his sleeping disorder, and Freddy and friends take their fort-building business on the road to turn it into a major real estate venture. Everything was in balance.
Nice.
And yet, they couldn't just leave well enough alone, could they? Because just like clockwork for this franchise, they turned the movie into a book. A book! Even though I announced my final episodes, I still couldn't get out of this thing fast enough, could I? Even though all the book releases were technically done for the franchise. After 22...
They turned the movie into a book? I mean, it's already... I don't really see what the point of that is. Like, because typically it's like the books are released and then the movies are released. Key examples of this are things like Percy Jackson and Harry Potter. Like, typically they would make the movie, they would make the book first, and then they would move on to the movie. You guys know what I mean? So making it into a book is just stupid.
Not even including the graphic novels and all the other spin-off materials. Good old Scotty Cawthon found a way to squeeze one more in on me before my foot was out the door. You know what I did? I read the thing. I gotta say,
Scott, you troll.
Because let me tell you, it is a theorist gold mine. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today to tell you that the FNAF movie book... Sorry. That the FNAF movie book... Oh, I can't even say it.
Just say it, dude.
It's ill to acknowledge that something like this exists. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand here today to tell you that the book version of the FNAF movie tells us everything about where the film spin-off series is headed to next. And perhaps more important...
He just said something that has been something I've been saying since the movie first came out. That I could have worded that differently, but you get the point. The movie isn't even canon, in my opinion. Like, it's just like a spin-off. Like, because first off, it tells a completely different story. And second, like, you get the point. I explained the entire thing on TikTok. Go check it out.
Than anything, it tells us that the big reveal of Chapter 3 is gonna be that Vanessa is a robot. Yeah, I know. You mean I'll commence throwing...
Plot twist. And also spoilers, dude. Jesus.
Things angrily at your computer monitor. So while you're busy
I'm not going to.
angry arm workout, what am I talking about exactly? Well, I don't know if you're aware of this, but it's not uncommon for films to get themselves what are known as movie novelizations. Basically a book that retells the exact same story as a movie, but because it's a book, there tend to be additional details thrown in to bulk things out. Insight into characters, their thoughts, their motivations, more descriptions of scenes, things like that. As you might have...
So you're saying that, like, because, like, one of the things that I was kind of upset about with the movie was that in the game, William Afton's Springlock was very gruesome, but, like, in the movie, it was so bland and anticlimactic, you know? Everybody knows this iconic scene from Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, look at it, guys. Now, it's just a photo, so there's no movement, but, like, you could probably tell what's going to happen. It was perfect, but instead we got whatever this is. You know? Whatever, guys. Let's just get back to the video.
Imagine novelizations like these were really popular before.
Oh, I forgot to mention the point of that. So the book would basically give us, like, a much more gruesome description, like how in Death Note, the manga made Light suffer when he died, but in the anime, it actually just, his heart just stopped. You know?
Video because people didn't have a way to relive the theater experience at their house. Nowadays,
True.
It's more of an additional source of found revenue for a movie. You already got yourself a script written after all, so you might as well throw in a few thousand extra words, slap a cover on it, probably just recycle some old promotional artwork, and boom! You just made yourself a couple extra bucks from the hardcore fans and collectors. So, of course,
if I knew books were that easy to make, I'd start making them.
With the hope and expectation that there might be some juicy lore hidden inside of its pages. And let me tell you, I was not disappointed. It was like experiencing the movie through some sort of weird multiverse. For instance,
nice.
I am actually in the book. Well,
okay, first off, that photo that was on there is terrifying. And second of all, I want someone to make I know they already have FNAF VR, Help Wanted and Help Wanted 2. If you guys want to see us play either one of those on the channel, which we did play Help Wanted 1, but whatever. I want someone to make a VR game where we're experiencing the entire game through Michael Afton's eyes. That would be terrifying.
Ness, my character from the movie. The catchphrase is in there and everything. It is really cool. I'm described as
He's literally just an Easter egg in him.
Auburn-haired teen. I appreciate that book.
He's not tall though. He's only what, like? He's only like 5'10", I want to say. I mean, I'm one to talk. I mean, I'm 5'2".
That's it. On the subject of learning more lore, apparently, and I didn't even know this is the guy who was playing the character, Ness is supposedly the son of the diner's owner, whose name is,
wow,
in fact, Sparky. And that right there is a pretty interesting detail when you consider that there's a dog animatronic who we've all been assuming is Sparky hidden in back of Freddy's Pizzeria. It is a super unusual detail that gets just a little bit more explanation and a bit more insight, all things.
That's interesting.
So, I'm the son of a fake animatronic dog. Found that one in my character bio right alongside my undying love for Doug the lawyer. Or maybe not. You see, Doug in the books, he is a very different character. The diner scene straight up features him openly creeping on Maxine. Enough so that she thinks of him as a total sleazeball. Let's just say that he's hungry for more than just the apps. Thankfully, this is one of the precious few times that Scott Cawthon has stepped in to set the record straight, explaining that this gross version of my best shipmate is, in fact, non-canon, and that this scene will be altered in all future printings of the novel.
Good. Like, thank God he's non-canon. Otherwise, imagine if he was actually a real character in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe. Ugh.
In short, Nug lives on, or would you consider us deaths? Anyway, you can already see how having more words on the page gives you tons of additional context to what you're seeing on the screen, and likely more insight into the original intent of these sorts of moments. And as you might imagine, if small bit players like Doug and I are getting lore drops from the books, then the main characters are also getting a lot of extra info in there as well. For instance, in the movie, it was lightly implied that Maxine had a bit of a crush on Mike. I picked it up right here, where she subtly signals that she wants him to put a ring on it.
I wish someone would done me already.
It's not a big plot point, but you can tell
I didn't even notice that.
The surface of this interaction. In the book, though, it goes from subtle subtext into a full-on plot point. She constantly dresses up for Mike, dropping tons of hints about her interests, growing more and more frustrated with Mike as he's completely oblivious to her advances. In fact, it's actually...
You know what? Maxine just needs to accept the fact that guys are just oblivious over that stuff. You know?
Part of her motivation for spying on him for Aunt Jane, which she also feels very regretful for in the books, unlike the film where she just kind of looks sad out of a window.
She just does. I just assumed she didn't care.
Mike is more of a theorist in the book than he was in the film, actively taking on more of the responsibility for unraveling the mystery. He independently does research. He even discovers the missing children's incident by himself instead of just being told about it by Vanessa later on.
So, like, I may have misjudged the movie a little bit then, because, like, I just assumed it was completely different, where because in the games Mike wanted to find out what his father was doing, and he did, and wanted to, you guys know, but apparently in the movie he was trying to do the same thing. I mean, I just thought the entire movie was just him looking for his dead brother.
I guess they just had to remove that part of the character from the film lest he get compared to the performances coming from other established theorists in the community.
That makes sense.
So that's obviously a bunch of random observations and details, adding a bit more texture to these characters that either got cut for time or glossed over in a more visual storytelling medium. But there is so much more packed into this book, enough so that I believe that we can figure out exactly where the story of the next two movies...
Hold on. He talks about books a lot in his theories, and you know his fourth channel style theory? I feel like he should have called it book theory. It would have made so much more sense. You know? Ad.
Exactly
and we're back.
The story of the next two movies is headed. And it all begins with the hill that apparently I'm going to be dying on for my final FNAF theories, a human being a robot. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Literally. I'm not the one making up the story here, friends. I just interpret the clues as best I can. But this
what is your obsession with that, dude?
Boy. Instead, we have ourselves a robot cop, Vanessa. Vanessa is a robot. And I suspect she's not going to be the only one. No, obviously that is a huge...
Weren't people, suspecting that for security breach?
Last time we talked about how Film Afton seems to be much further along in his understanding of the possessed animatronics than either his game or book counterparts. For instance, he knows that they operate based off the pictures that are hung on the wall.
I actually made a point about this scene right here. The point I made was about this photo right here that I drew when I was just 12 years old. And as you guys could see, I was a pretty good artist back then. See, so if drawing a picture was all it took to beat William, I could beat William.
Was that as he's dying, he needs to be wearing the golden bodysuit in order for his soul to survive by bonding to the metal.
I always come back.
He even seems to have a rudimentary understanding of Remnant based on the existence of that weird torture Freddy mask. I mean, seriously, these animatronics are not inventing a device like this. It has to have been man-made. In fact, the novelized version of the movie's Cold Open suggests exactly this. If you read the prologue of the book very closely, you learn that Bob, the security guard whose death opens the film, had already figured out that he was nothing more than a lamb for the slaughter in this job. First,
nice.
His internal monologue acknowledges that he had been hired to...
Is that a reference to that one song? You know, this song right here. I can't play it for copyright reasons, but we will have this one right here linked down below. Shout out to Grandson, by the way. They're awesome. This song is a really good song. You know what? I want somebody to make a like a fan art of Naruto and Sasuke fighting with that song in the background. I will watch that and even hit the like button if you do that.
Pizzeria. It's written expressly in sarcastic scare quotes there, showing that he knows very well that the job was never meant to be real. Being dragged to his death by the animatronics, he passes by the kid's drawing of Afton holding the kid's hands, and we read
that's a
that
creepy
bile
picture.
Fills his throat in this moment. He knows that that picture and the rabbit specifically is the reason that he's currently fighting for his life. In short, the extra details in the prologue of the novelization strongly suggest that Afton is actively hiring guards to this pizzeria to harvest a remnant from them.
I thought his entire thing was killing children to get remnant.
So he can continue
I'm confused.
Experiments, and he's using his control over the animatronics to help make all of this happen. And because of that, despite this being an adaptation of one of the earliest FNAF stories, Film Afton is likely already tinkering with much more advanced animatronic technology.
First off, is that the Mimic? Sometimes in VR chat, I like to pretend I'm the Mimic just to freak people out. I mean, in fact, my bio literally has my status being, I am a Mimic. First off. And second, apparently movie Afton is a lot smarter than game Afton. Interesting.
Again, look no further than the cold open of the novel. The torture Freddy mask isn't just an old repurposed Freddy head like it is in the movie. Instead, it's described like this. Quote, the two halves of the bear face peeled back like the wings of a beetle, expanding outward. As the fur parted, spinning robotic mechanisms filled Bob's vision. This description of how the mask operates,
that's a lot more...
apart and fold out, is actually much more fitting of a different generation of animatronic.
It's like, because you remember in the trailers, we all thought that this right here was a Springlock suit. Like, I mean, it would have made perfect sense. It explains why, because like in the Springlock suit is basically a torture device, you know, like because you know it can like crush your body and kill you instantly. This thing looks like it could do the same, but like apparently it's just a torture device. Freaking Saw Death Trap looking, Jesus.
Fun time animatronics. And what do we see in FNAF 5? The game where these fun times take center stage? Down in Afton's bunker, we see articulating humanoid robot heads, eyes constantly blinking. They're alive, and they're watching us. And these aren't just set decorations either.
Wait,
These
what?
are important enough to have been directly called out by the FNAF character encyclopedia. In the game prior, FNAF 4, Afton's final line was, I will put you back together. And in FNAF 5, we see exactly that. A bunker made by Afton full of robotic humanoids. A mad scientist of a man trying to use his robotic skills to bring a human back to life. To put...
You know, honestly, what he just said just now about mad scientist, I know it has nothing to do with the video, but like, that's something I never actually thought of when playing the game. I thought he was just some crazy dude trying to bring his son back to life using Remnant. But he's basically a scientist if you think about it, because, you know, most scientists deal with like chemicals and stuff like that, and Remnant is technically a form of chemical. If you just think about it, guys. Just think about it for just a second.
Put his loved ones back together, literally. Going back to the movie, this is likely why we see a humanoid animatronic with teeth, silver...
Okay, this right here made me think of two different things. First is the Silver Eyes novel. If you guys remember that, then you are an OG. And second, it made me think of Springtrap. You know how, like... Hold on, give me a second. For those of you guys who need a recap, this is what Springtrap looks like. Now, take a look back at the skull thing. If I was to look up Springtrap without suit, you get this freaking abomination right here. But take a look. Look at it. Look at his face. Now look back at the skeleton thing. Look at his face. Skeleton thing. You see the connection, right? I suspect that this thing is Springtrap. Don't believe me? Well, you're just gonna have to wait till the next movie to find out.
Horizon an arm with 5 articulated human fingers buried in the parts and services room. It's not just an Easter egg put there from scraps laid around the Jim Henson office. This looks like it's a first-generation robot person. So we have an Afton that's already harvesting
Makes
and
sense.
experimenting with Remnant at the beginning of this film. And we know that there's a human-shaped robot buried in the parts and services room that suggests that he might have been working on some sort of human prototype.
Kind of like the whole Gregory thing.
Long way away from creating a convincing enough.
Speaking of, I actually believe that theory. I mean, I feel like it makes total sense. Like, why would Gregory resemble the Crying Child if he's not a robotic version of the Crying Child? So, yeah, if you guys remember that theory and you guys believe, kudos to all of you.
Robot that is able to fool literally everyone around it. And
It's literally a mimic.
Would be Vanessa, of all people. Well, the first thing I'd like to talk about here is actually something that jumped out to me the first time I watched the movie. The performance of Vanessa's actress, Elizabeth Lale. Something I noticed throughout the movie was how aloof and disconnected Vanessa seemed. Her voice was always flat. Her character almost always stoic.
Like a robot.
Security guard?
Yeah.
You're fleeting, by the way. You and Abby, you still have each other. From what I said.
So she seems more
And for the
robot
times that she
than
actually
human.
did show emotion, she was flipping on a dime, seemingly out of nowhere.
Take care of your sister. You can do whatever you want with your life. But if you ever bring Abby back here again, I will shoot you.
Considering the character that she's based on from the games,
Okay,
you'd think that she
I'm going to be honest with you. That scene kind of made me feel uncomfortable in the movie because, like, why would you just threaten to shoot the night guard? It seemed just kind of weird. Like, first off, Five Nights at Freddy's, people originally thought it was for kids. And I know it's not. I know the whole meme behind it. You know, this right here. These memes right here where they have, like, Chica making a creepy face, Foxy being tortured, apparently, and just, like, blood and gore all over the place. So, but, I mean, like, it's not, but, like, they're kids watching. I mean, the Springlock incident was not gruesome for a reason. I mean, they knew that kids were going to be watching it, but still, I mean, like, why would you just randomly blurt out that you're going to shoot him? It's kind of ignorant.
Or energetic based on how she was in Security Breach.
Hello,
She was not.
little boy. If you're down here, say something.
Hey, little man. Do you know what time it is? The
Oh
doors are
God,
open.
this part right
Why
here
aren't
kind
you
of,
still
this
here?
part right here
This
freaked
isn't
me
meant to be
out.
Some sort of critique on Elizabeth Lale's performance or anything like that. We know that she's a talented actor. I mean, just check out some of the clips of her
Actress.
playing Anna in the show Once Upon a Time.
He is Prince Charming, and you're Snow White, and those things sound terrible, but they also sound romantic. What is that amazing smell?
What the freak? Did they make Frozen into a live action?
So the flatter delivery from her has to
Honestly, I don't really like Frozen, but I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I mean, a live action Frozen. Imagine.
intentional direction that was given, perhaps direction to sound a bit more robotic. In the novelization, Vanessa seems to shift personalities on a dime, changing between what Mike describes as the bubbly girl mode and the intensely serious cop mode. For example, during their first night meeting, we get this, quote, "Then someone invisible flipped a switch. Vanessa's cop mode deactivated." That right there, it's a pretty suspicious way of phrasing a psychological change like that. Intentionally using robotic language in this franchise? Yeah, press X to doubt.
That's
The same
not-
thing
that's
happens
not a
towards the end of the
coincidence.
movie, too, where
Coincidences
after
in
Vanessa's
this
stabbed by
series?
Abby notices this. Quote again, Vanessa's eyes looked weird, like they were lights that were having a hard time staying on. And speaking of both Vanessa's eyes and her personality shifts, the absolute biggest piece of evidence here, Vanessa's eyes literally change color when she shifts personalities. Check it out, again from the book, page 140.
Kinda like Circus
right
Baby.
After Mike tells Vanessa about his Garrett kidnapping dreams,
You know?
quote, narrowing
Hold on.
the eyes.
Do you guys know what I mean when I say circus babies? Seriously though, take a look at this photo right here. If it would pop up. Okay. Her eyes are blue in this photo. But then after Elizabeth started possessing her, her eyes turned green. If you guys are true fans of the series, you guys would know that.
Stiffening of her mouth, she was back in cop mode. No, Mike thought. It wasn't cop mode, it was something else. Vanessa's irises deepened noticeably in hue. They went from their usual soft, almost grayish blue to a deeper indigo.
They're just
The color
admitting
was
it at
so
this point.
pronounced that it almost looked computer generated. Computer generated, huh? What a choice of words that is. An indigo, you
It
say,
truly
meaning a color that
is
some would
an
confuse
interesting
with
choice of words,
purple.
bro.
But perhaps the single most telling part of this little paragraph comes in the final line. It was enormously disquieting. Mike felt like he was watching a human turning into...
Wow. Just wow. What is going on with this camera? Yeah, the camera shut off for a second, guys.
and then he trails off, not having a chance.
I was saying that it's interesting because like she's basically a robot.
A robot, perhaps?
Do you need a free easy
ad.
way to capture?
And we're back.
Having a chance to finish the thought. Turning into what, Mike? Turning into what? A robot, perhaps? This thing with the eyes, it isn't just a one-off change. It is a consistent part of Vanessa's character descriptions throughout the entire novel.
And Circus Baby. Don't forget about Circus
Quote,
Baby.
Vanessa's irises did the light blue to dark blue thing. Her eyes have turned an even deeper blue, navy blue now, almost black. As Vanessa's explaining her father's creations like the Springlocks, again, the eyes
That's like a buff Freddy there.
sometimes purple and sometimes black.
That would be
Almost as if
terrifying.
She's fallen back on some sort of Afton-designed programming, almost like he's controlling her. In fact, every time Vanessa tries to do something to keep Mike from looking into this mystery and uncovering Afton's secrets, her eyes go to this darker color. In the scene next to the storm drain where she tries to convince Mike not to try sleeping and dreaming of Freddy anymore, her eyes are dark blue. In the same scene, as Mike tries to get Vanessa to open up so
Was
he
this
can
in the
get to
movie?
know her better, he notices that her eyes grow darker and become blurred.
Was this in the movie, guys? Because like if it was, I didn't pay attention to her eyes. I paid attention to the story, but still, I mean, wow.
And then something, in quotes, breaks the illusion that they're forming. And yet, when she's begging for him not to go to Freddy's at all, to save himself and Abby, again, quotes, he looked into her eyes, so soft and blue right now that it seemed like some of her essence, life force, was leaching from her. If there's some
So like, if we know Five Nights at Freddy's lore properly, we know that that they have the souls that are possessing the animatronics. So if I got this right, if I get what you're saying now, Matt Pat, it's that is a real Vanessa, but like it's her soul possessing a robot. I mean, it'll explain why there was no blood when she got stabbed in the movie. So, yeah.
programming controlling Vanessa, that would also explain one of the stranger moments from the film. After Mike is attacked by the animatronics and saved by Vanessa, she reveals the dark secrets of her past and the pizzeria. When Mike asks her to help save Abby, though, she declines. It's not because she doesn't want to help, but because she feels like she literally can't. Come with me.
If he's there, I won't be any use to you, believe me.
And when she does show up at the pizzeria later on, once confronted by Afton, she's only able to bring herself to shoot once before completely freezing up, kind of like a computer that's crashed. Even my favorite line of the movie,
"You had one job, keep him in the dark and kill him if he got too close."
That's 2 jobs.
is a robotic, process-driven answer. And before I say that Vanessa can't be a robot because we see her get stabbed and have to go to the hospital, yeah.
There was no blood.
The biggest point against the theory. That said, remember the franchise that we're talking about here, friends? These robots can be so lifelike, so realistic that you cannot tell them apart from real humans at all. They eat, they sleep, they breathe.
He put a
they
photo of
move like
Cassie up
Charlie
there.
does in
How
the
do we know
original
for sure
FNAF
Cassie's
book
even
trilogy.
human?
I get that the FNAF franchise tends to be cryptic, but time and time again, there have been signs that someone in this franchise is a robot. Maybe it was Gregory from Security Breach. We know for a fact that Charlie from the book trilogy was, Jessica from Frailty,
See?
Billy from B7, Sarah from To Be Beautiful. The list goes
You see?
on and on and on. They are hitting us over the head time and again with these kids who become robots. If I just keep
It just
saying
brings
that
us back
one of
to
these
it
characters
brings us
is
back to the
effectively
Gregory
animatronic,
thing.
eventually I will be right. This would even
Yes,
make some
eventually.
strange imagery from the games make more sense. Remember the unmasked ending from Security Breach? No, of course not. Why would you? Well, in it,
Yeah, I
we
didn't
see
really get
Vanessa,
this ending.
one who's fallen to the ground and died, while another still.
Because I think you have to get all the
looking down at
little
the sea.
prizes, I
This
think.
was always weird, and we as a FNAF community just kind of politely ignored it. But it suddenly makes a lot more sense if Vanessa is in fact a robot. It's just
Sure.
two recreations of the same model. One became active the second the other one died, which again is something that we see happening in the original novel
What was
trilogy with Charlie bots. But why? Sure, Afton might be.
Yeah,
crazy
but like,
and
here's the thing. Just thought it creepy. But here's the thing. She didn't like just because, you know, the next Charlie bot was active doesn't mean the last one died. In fact, the two Charlie bots could one day meet and like, you know, they could team up and like, I don't know, fight Afton, because we all know that in the graphic novel Charlie made the spring locks go off and you know.
But why go through all of this trouble? Keep the pizzeria up and running, hire new guards to farm remnant from, create an animatronic as human as Vanessa? Why is he doing it? Well, the answer seems to be staring us in the face throughout the movie. It's this. The Ella Springlock suit.
That thing,
Think about it.
the first thing that came to mind when I saw that when watching the movie was Circus Baby. Because, like, think about it. First off, it has the same cheeks and the same makeup as Circus Baby. Second, we know Circus Baby has like a claw that can store away items, and most Springlock suits have that. And third, well, the fact that Abby got thrown in there, and she's the movie equivalent of Elizabeth. So,
around this animatronic in the film, warning Mike not to go near it and going as far as threatening to shoot him if he brings Abby back to the pizzeria. If she loves
Now suddenly that scene makes more
why is she
sense.
so cautious about this one? Well, what if it already killed someone? Someone Vanessa knows very well. Someone like herself. Afton's daughter, the original Vanessa.
It just goes back to the fourth closet. You know, the whole Charlie Bots meeting up and taking down Afton thing that I mentioned like 3 seconds ago.
I believe that in his desire to create the best animatronics possible, Afton created this Ella Springlock animatronic, and it ended up killing his own daughter. Just like what we see happen with Baby in the games. That is where his obsession
See? He said it.
His desire to find the secrets of life after death. He wanted to rebuild his daughter, and in the process, he discovered Remnant, how to create it, the pain required for it. That's why he built the torture device with the green Freddy mask, and made sure that it was close to the Ella animatronic.
I mean, it was kind of dark, so you can't really tell.
Afton wanted to infuse the suit with Remnant, all in the hopes of bringing back his real Vanessa. Eventually, he was able to build the Vanessa that we see in the movie, but even then, she's difficult. She rebels. She doesn't want to help him as much, especially when children like Abby get involved. It's not his real Vanessa. So Afton will keep trying. And if I'm right about this, it tells us a huge amount about where the franchise is headed in the next film. In our last theory, we suggested that Mike's brother Garrett is likely the identity of the
Yeah, I mean,
film.
because wasn't like your first, like one of your first theories that the crying child was the puppet? You know, like that's right. I've been watching this dude for a while now. I mean, I haven't really been. I've only just recently gotten to Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, I want to say about 2 or 3 years ago. I want to say. I don't really know.
The centerpiece of the second movie. I mean, the credits literally end with the puppet telling both Mike and the audience to come by. However, this is
Like Five Nights at Freddy's 2 Save the Minigame.
You see, Afton has a strange connection with Garrett. In the book, Garrett actually appears in the pizzeria during the final battle, luring Mike to a more secluded area where Afton can ambush him. Afton has control over Garrett's spirit in the scene, enough so that Garrett literally melts into the shadows that Afton emerges from. Quote from the book.
That kind of made me think of like when Ennard took over his body. But what?
Quote from the book. It was as if Garrett became part of the gloaming under the archway. He was there, and then he was something else. In Garrett's place, someone in a rabbit costume appeared. Not just someone, a man. So if Afton controls,
that's way different from the movie.
It's likely that the puppet is going to be the villain of the second film, creating a whole new conflict.
Because wasn't the puppet like the main antagonist of the second game? All right, so I just did some research just now, and as it turns out, Five Nights at Freddy's 1's main antagonist was actually Golden Freddy. 2 was the puppet. 3 was Springtrap. 4 was Nightmare and Nightmare Fredbear. 5 was Ennard. 6 was Afton, I think. 7 was the one you shouldn't have killed. 8 was Glitch Trap. And 9 was Fanny. Yeah, I just thought of that. I thought of that right off the top of my head.
And then if the third movie follows the third game, an undead Afton will be back as the main antagonist, with the grand reveal that he's been able to make robot people the entire time. Vanessa will be revealed to be a robot, and Afton will tempt Mike with exactly what he wants. He could put Garrett back together as a robot kid, exactly the way Mike remembered him as a child, just as Afton did with his daughter. All Mike has to do is help Afton with his evil experiments, and Mike then will be left with a choice.
Oh, come on, man. We all know Michael Afton. Like, he's not going to team up with William. Like, come on. In what universe is Michael Afton going to team up with William?
How badly does he want his brother back? Guess we'll have to watch the movie, then read the corresponding 8-book series released afterward to find out. But hey,
I thought he was going to say a thing.
One thing I know she'd be able to appreciate, the sponsor of today's episode.
Okay, you know what? That's enough with sponsor. We don't need to hear the sponsor. Honestly, that was pretty interesting. I highly enjoyed that. Nice job, Film Theorist. Shout out to them. They'll be linked. The original video will be linked down below. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, give this video a like, comment down below, as well as subscribe for more videos. Ring the bell if you want to receive notifications for the next time we post a video. And on that note, this is Miner signing off for now. Alright, peace out, everyone.